right, so welcome back to Studio 39, aka the Bear Cave, man. I'm Rob Odie. We got another good one, man. Another story to share, just like we do every time. Before we get started, please continue to hit that like button. Please continue to subscribe and share on all your social media so we can continue to get these student athletes the eyes and the exposure that they truly deserve. So do that for me. Now that that's out the way, man, let's have some fun. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. We'll go from there.
My name is Cole Cucitrone. I'm 6'2", 220-pound linebacker out of Cave Creek, Arizona. Currently on the Maricopa Mustangs, attending PVCC, and I'll be a graduate of junior college in 2022.
Junior college 2022. Fantastic. So, did you have a football season this year?
I did. It's kind of a crazy story. I went up to Oregon, and the whole COVID situation surprisingly brought me back home, and I got an opportunity to play linebacker the Maricopa Mustangs last minute, and I was super lucky to get a 6-game season in.
That's huge, man. So walk me through a little bit of the season. How'd it go for you specifically?
It went really well, considering that we also get the year back. I came in and I was playing a little bit of Mike and Will, both an inside and outside linebacker spot. I finished the year with 44 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 4 sacks, about 15 TFLs in 6 games, which it was a good season, but in my head there's always something to improve and work on.
Yeah. I mean, 6 games, that's modest, right? The fact that you could just spit them off, man, you were prepared. I like it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So that brings me to exactly what you just touched on. You said, there was some things that you can improve on, right? Because obviously, nobody that walks on God's green earth is perfect. So what are some things that you learned from this season that you're going to put in place and really focus in on the off season going into next year?
So, this is actually my second year playing linebacker. Throughout high school, I was actually the quarterback for 3 years on varsity,
Okay.
which now helped me out a little bit, because I can read, the offense on the defensive side, understand the concepts a little bit better, and it puts me in a spot to make more plays. I think my biggest thing is continuing to learn the aspect of the linebacker game, to react faster to the ball, and make more explosive hits towards the ball and being in the right spot.
Okay. So with that, what are you going to do this offseason to really, key in on those specific areas?
This offseason is a big offseason for me, as it is for everybody, but I'm really going to work on my explosive steps, being very explosive with the hips, and a lot of short bursts towards the ball to close the gap
Okay.
between the running back, quarterback, and stuff like that.
Cool, man. Are you working with any strength and conditioning coach, speed coach, anything like that?
Yeah, the best trainer in the state is Athlon Movement and Performance. I've been with him for about 3 years, and man, his name's Luke Williamson, and he's got me right.
That's huge, man. Anytime you can shout out somebody that's helping you, perfect your craft, that's big. So kudos to him, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool, man. Cool. So if I were to talk to him, right, and if I were to talk to him, if I were to talk to any of your current or former coaches, what would they say are some of your biggest strengths that really make you stand out compared to the guy beside
I think one of mine personally is just my work ethic. I can't take no for an answer. I love competing to the highest level. I love working to get something that I've always wanted, right? And I think another thing too is my leadership that really separates me. Whether it's being a vocal leader or going through, the motions and, speaking less with my voice and more with my actions.
you? Sure.
But I would just say, my work ethic separates me from everybody else. Friday nights, Saturday nights, I'd rather be in the gym, than out with my friends, because at the end of the day, that's what's more important to me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if that's what's going to take, to get you to where you want to be, then by all means, you got to put in the work, right?
Yes,
It,
sir.
it doesn't come to you. No,
No.
not at all, right? So let's do this, man. So junior college, right? So this is the first for me. So walk me through a little bit of a typical junior college season, if you don't mind. Because a
Well,
lot of
it
times
was
I talk to a lot of high school students. I talk to like D1, D2 type players, but this is my first junior college conversation.
well, I was very blessed to obviously be able to have a season, but it was really an eye opener to me, because I got to play with people across the country,
Hmm.
and that was huge for me, because I got to learn a lot of different cultures and a lot of different techniques. And it's more of a mental toughness than anything. I believe, as soon as I walked out there, there's no locker room, there's no turf, you're playing on dirt. It's just it's true football. You show
Oh
up
yeah.
and play, and it's more mental than anything. And I think being around a different group of people, compared to just being around Arizona kids, is huge. It teaches you a lot about different aspects, and you can learn something from this guy and that guy. And so it definitely kind of opened my eyes up. But it definitely mentally toughens you up for
Yeah,
sure.
man. So, if you don't mind me asking, what led you to the junior college, you know, path?
So I was actually I was playing Division III football up in Oregon at Willamette University,
Okay.
and unfortunately with the whole COVID situation, I just had to come back home, and it wasn't my plan to go play junior college football, but just the way, like I said, everything happens for a reason,
Absolutely.
and I got offered to play the spot, and 4 days before the first game, next thing I know, I'm suited up and I'm in the game, so it's
Okay.
just the way it worked out.
So no playbook, no nothing. You barely knew your teammates' names at that point, right?
No, I
Hey,
didn't.
it's like, hey, 54, come over here, right?
It was Friday night, it was about 11, 12 o'clock at night, and just going over the playbook, just getting
That's
everything that I
good.
can and getting ready to go for Saturday.
That's cool, man. That's cool. So, let's take it back a step. Let's go back to your high school days, if you don't mind, and kind of walk me through what your recruiting process looked like. Going through your high school years, and ultimately you went and played some ball in Oregon. How did that start for you, if you don't mind, and what made you choose the direction that you went?
So, throughout high school, I was the quarterback. I played varsity quarterback my sophomore and junior year. Sophomore year, I also played a little bit of defensive end and linebacker as well. My junior year is mostly quarterback, a very little linebacker, and senior year is actually you're supposed to go both ways.
Sure.
I was the team captain my senior year. I led my boys, and unfortunately, after the first game, I broke my hand. I fractured my thumb. So I wrapped it up 9 games and played with the cast, and the whole recruiting process. It's a very interesting process. It's fun. I had I started gathering up offers towards the end of the season. I had a majority of Division III and NAI Division II. I had a couple Division I looks, but nothing much.
Okay.
Considering it was also my first season playing linebacker.
Yeah.
I remember my linebacker coach was like, you're really considered a project, because I'm so raw.
Oh yeah.
And so I was actually I went to look at about 8 different schools. I looked at Hamlin University, Lake Forest. I did really University of Puget Sound, George Fox, all the West Coast.
Yeah. Sure.
Um, I was actually committed originally to Hamlin University of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Okay.
But just my heart was not in it. And you have to follow what your heart is. So then it brought me to Oregon. And there was no season up there, but you're still practicing a little bit with masks and everything, of course, with the whole COVID situation going on.
Yeah.
And just something in my heart told me to come back home, and it just led to JUCO.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in the JUCO route. Do you have plans and hopes of moving past the JUCO level and hopefully playing D2 D1 type ball, or are you gonna finish out in the JUCO path and get your degree and go that direction?
I'm absolutely looking forward to playing after JUCO. I think as of right now, with the whole COVID situation going on, I think it's going to bring me back to play another year with the Maricopa Mustangs, which financially makes sense for me and my family. But at the same
Sure.
time, too, it also allows me to develop another year, which I think the biggest development I need is mentally. Seeing the steps with the guards and the tackles and the backs, and I think that's my biggest thing that I need to work on. And that just comes with time.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
only played 16 games at linebacker compared to these other kids that have played 50. So
In 6 games in the books, this year, and you had a hell of a season in just 6 games. So, you've got a very bright future in whatever direction you decide to take it, man.
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's transition out of the whole sports talk and student athlete and all that fun stuff, because obviously, you're a big dude, you got talent, hell, you just spit off your stats like it was nothing, and it was a heck of a year for 6 games. But let's move into who you are as a person, man, because I think that's probably the most important aspect of this whole show, because we can watch film, there's huddle tapes, there's social media, all of that will tell a story of who you are as a student athlete, but it won't tell us who you are as a person, right? And
Absolutely.
that's pretty much what this opportunity is. Who you are outside of the game. What are you involved with? What do you like to do? All that good stuff.
Yes, sir. My biggest thing for me, and I kind of came over this summer, is I have actually written on my whiteboard is, I want to try to do one action every day that impacts someone positively. Because at the end of the day, when you're in your grave, it's how many people you impacted. It's not how much money you made, how much fame. It's how many people you positively impacted, and that's why always doing the right thing and helping people out, because you never know. You just may one day save a kid's life. for
No,
being
absolutely.
nice, you know. So
Yep.
it's just my biggest thing is just impacting people in a positive way.
Yeah, man, that's huge. I mean, and that goes back to, before we went on air, sharing the story of why I started this whole podcast, right? It's nothing in it for me, man. It's about giving back and really trying to help as many people as possible, right? And by doing this, it gives a national platform, to share stories, because you've got a story that's completely different than anything that I've shared thus far, and that's exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to this platform, because everybody's got a story to share, right? And if you share your
Absolutely.
story, I guarantee your story is going to be able to impact somebody in a positive way. Maybe somebody's in a similar situation and they think that they're down and out. And, maybe they listen to what you have to say, and maybe they follow suit and pursue their dreams in a different avenue than maybe they thought. Right. So that's exactly what this is all about, man. And you represent everything good when it comes to a student athlete, man. So I'm super proud and super pumped for you. Um, Look, man, we've been chatting for a little while. We got to know each other a little bit on and off air. I think you shared a hell of a story, and I think it's going to be a great listen for everybody out there. But I'm going to close it out with one question, and I do it every single time. So if you've watched any episode, you know it's coming, and that's what motivates and what drives you to want to wake up tomorrow and be that much more successful than you were today.
My biggest thing, my biggest fear is going backwards in life. You know, going back to where I came from. You know, actually, when I was a little kid, I was actually really fat. You know, so me getting up, and my biggest fear is going backwards, whether
Okay.
it's physically, mentally, or emotionally. You know, so that just drives me. And you know, you also got my friends and my true friends and my family that are behind me in this, and you know, just trying to make them proud. You know, and doing it for myself and doing it for my friends and my family. But my biggest thing is, you know, I don't want to go backwards.
No steps back, right? Only step forward.
No steps back,
I
only
like it,
forward.
man. So look, man, I appreciate you taking the time. The future is incredibly, bright. I look forward to seeing what happens. Hopefully you get to have a regular season next year. Fingers
Yes,
crossed.
sir.
This whole COVID thing disappears, and I can hit the road and start to really get out there in front of the student athletes, man. But until then, I'm going to continue to bang out the Zoom calls, right? It works right now,
Yes,
so
sir.
we'll continue to do it. But look, for all the viewers out there, this is exactly why we do it. Completely different story thus far than anything we've shared, so please continue to subscribe. Please continue to share on all your social media. Blast it. Tell us, to everybody that's watching, man. Let's get these eyes on these student athletes. That's what it's about. Let's do that. I appreciate you, man. I'm Rob Odie. This is Spotlight 39. We'll be in contact. I appreciate you.